Now, alcohol is one of the most widely used drugs on the planet. And here's the thing, when we stop drinking it, the society that we live in are gonna look at us like we're crazy. But what I wanna do for you in this video is I want to explain what you can expect when you stop drinking, but I actually want to give you a completely alternative viewpoint. Now, I've not drank for 3 years. I didn't use AA, I didn't use a rehab, I didn't use therapy, I didn't even use willpower. What I did is I changed the way that I viewed alcohol. And that has meant that I've gone on for the past 3 years without fighting, without resisting, without calling myself an alcoholic. And I've really just gone on to build the life of my dreams. So what I want to do in this video is I want to explain to you what you can expect, but you will never have heard content like this in your life, because this is the accumulation of 3 years of experience of basically doing the opposite of what everybody else told me I should do. I didn't do a 30-day challenge. I didn't cut down. I didn't moderate. I did what I knew that I had to do. And what's happened now is, I've really built this great company called SoberClear, where we help entrepreneurs and professionals stop drinking. I've got into another relationship. I've moved to Thailand. I'm living in a great place now, and I'm taking care of my family. And I'm telling you, every area of my life has changed. But what I want to do for you in this video is I really want to go from really explaining how a simple decision has really got me to what I call is my edge, right? And you will understand what the edge is by the end of this video. And these concepts have the power to I think that this is going to be the best video on the channel that I've ever made, right? This content is just going to be groundbreaking. You will watch this and you will be like, I am sticking on that path. So I don't care where you are right now, if you're a few days in, if you've not even stopped yet, if you're 2 years, 5 years into the journey, you will be nodding your head along with this video thinking, damn, that is a great decision. Now, just before we do get into the video, if you click the link in the description, you can learn how to apply first principles thinking to actually control your drinking. Now, that training is going to show you how to stop and control your drinking without AA, rehabs, willpower. But in this video, I really want to talk about after you've made that decision. So just bear that in mind. If you want more information about, stopping and that kind of stuff, click the link in the description. Now, you may have seen this kind of diagram before, and it's talking about the comfort zone. So that little circle there represents the comfort zone. And that's where we spend most of our lives. We live in our comfort zones, right? Where, we've got that routine where we get in the same car, we eat the same foods, we go to the same job, we go to the same gym, we hang out with the same people. And really, the comfort zone it's like a survival mechanism. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. However, everything that we want lies just outside of it. You might have seen this before. I think it's a really cool diagram. But really, everything that we want is outside of where we're comfortable right now. So think about it, the great body, the six-pack, right? Where is that? That's not at home on the couch. That's at a gym, doing the work. That's dieting. That's, saying no to certain foods. It's hiring a coach. It's doing a lot of things that aren't comfortable. And everything that we want is outside of the comfort zone. Starting the business, getting new customers, getting into a relationship, working on our current relationship. Everything that we want lies just outside of our comfort zone. And really, now this is where things get interesting, right? When we drink alcohol, that is our comfort zone. So if we, for example, let's say we wanted to meet a member of the opposite sex and we were drinkers, are we going to go to that date sober? No, because that's outside of our comfort zone. So we have a drink. And the main thing that stops people from actually stopping drinking, from saying, I don't want to drink anymore, is that they are stuck in their comfort zone, right? Stopping drinking lies outside of their comfort zone. And if it didn't, then nobody would drink, right? If it was that easy for everyone to stop drinking and it was a comfortable, easy decision, then boom. Nobody would drink, right? Everybody would just kind of not drink because it's so easy to do. But we know that drinking alcohol is inside of the comfort zone, right? And what makes it so difficult for people to stop is because they're afraid. They're afraid to get out of their comfort zone. That is the main reason that people really just stop in their tracks and say, I don't really want to stop drinking, right? They're afraid. So just bear with me because this is going to go somewhere interesting. So when we stop drinking, we immediately go from here to here. Now, for some people, what they do is they will stop drinking for 30 days. They're going to use willpower, maybe join a challenge, something like that just relies on sheer willpower, resisting for 30 days. They go here for 30 days, but they know that getting back there is like one drink away, right? And then they have the drink and then they're back in the comfort zone. But what happens here is when you make the decision is then you permanently put yourself outside of your comfort zone. Because when you make a decision, right, I'm not talking about a challenge, I'm not talking about resisting or fighting. When you make that all-in decision to not drink, you take yourself outside of your current comfort zone and go into you kind of expand this comfort zone. So it almost gets bigger. And when you make that decision to become a non-drinker, that's when things start to get interesting because you grow as a person. You've just taken your small world of comfort and gone, nah, I'm better than this. I can grow more than this. Boom. My comfort zone is expanded. I'm bigger, I'm better. So, but that decision took a leap, right? You had to leap outside of the comfort zone, make that decision, and then your comfort zone is kind of expanded, right? But it all came from that decision to become a non-drinker. Now, when I talk about the decision, I know I've spoken about this on the channel a lot, but most people that try to stop, they don't make a decision. They don't make a commitment. They just try. They just experiment. They count the days. They do all of this stuff. When you make a decision to stop drinking, you go all in, right? You fully commit. You cut off all possibilities of failure. It's like a switch. It's like, I'm done. The same way that, you jump in a swimming pool. You don't, if you dip your toes in and then slowly go in, that is one way to get into the pool. If you jump, right, and you're halfway through the air and you're about to land in the pool, you can't really escape either way because you've committed, right? It's like there's just no escape. You're just going to go all in. And the way that you can get there is through, like I say on the channel many times, is through building that paradigm, through building that worldview where you see alcohol for what it is, right? So important. I know this, I might be repeating myself at this point, but the point is that you make the decision to not drink and your comfort zone expands. Now, this is where things get interesting because now you've done that, you kind of start to realize like, that wasn't so bad. Like I've just done something that I might have been putting off for 20 years, 30 years. I mean, there's people in the Sober Club program drank every day for 40 years. There's also people that haven't drank for 40 years. They might have drank for a few years. But the point of the matter is that every single one of the people in the program, including myself, when I drank, I put off that decision. I stayed in my comfort zone. And then once I made that decision, I stepped outside of my comfort zone and I stayed there. And I realized that things weren't so bad. So then what happened? Well, what happened next is that my natural ability started coming back. And this is going to sound a bit strange. I mean, if you've not stopped drinking, you might not quite get this, but let me do my best. So what I mean is that once you've made that decision, you've pushed yourself outside of the comfort zone, you start to give yourself permission to be the real you again. And it's quite hard to describe, but it's almost like the real me had laid dormant for such a long time. The real me is outgoing. They want to speak. They want to do things, right? The real me is confident. The real me is happy. The real me is, they'll express a range of emotions, right? I'm not just going to be pissed off and angry all the time. And when I stopped drinking, it was like the real me came back again. And because I'd done one thing scary, I'd stepped outside of my comfort zone in this one way, it's like this natural ability started coming back. And the confident me started coming back. And I'm like, well, if I've done this one thing, then what else can I do? And in my personal journey, I stopped drinking. That was outside of my comfort zone. And as you guys know, my life had kind of gone backwards when I was drinking. At one point I was successful. I was a personal trainer. I wasn't drinking. I started drinking again and basically destroyed my business, destroyed my relationship, had to sell my car, moved back from London, back to Oxford, and started working in a restaurant again. My entire life had just tumbled backwards because I had no money left. It had just gone crazy. And when I stopped drinking at this restaurant, I'm outside of my comfort zone, right? I've gone outside of my comfort zone, and basically what happened is I had this confidence started coming back. And I immediately went back to the gym as a personal trainer, right? Like it was this thing where I was like, I'm feeling good again. I can go back and I can create a business from nothing. I had no clients. I just went to the gym, it just started from nothing. Self-employed, had to go on a gym floor, sell myself. But my confidence had come back because I'm outside of the comfort zone. So now going and selling, well, I'm thinking, hang on, if I've gone from, working in the restaurant, having definite money at the end of the month to stopping drinking, then surely I can just go back to the gym as a personal trainer, right? Yeah, definitely. So I did it. I went back to the gym and really it was like, because I wasn't drinking, I just kept pushing things a little bit further and a little bit further. And basically every day this just grew and grew and grew. And I remember I would go to offices and I did some speeches where I'd train the office staff on fitness and health and fat loss. And that was really fun. And I started a boot camp at the gym, and I was doing things all the time that expanded my comfort zone. I did group personal training, which nobody else in the gym had done. I charged probably double what everybody else was charging. And I just kept pushing it further and further and further out. And this is me, when I don't drink, I'm just a different person altogether. And basically from that one decision, my comfort zone gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So basically, since the personal training then I realized, I'm creating this business in this place that I don't really want to be in Oxford. This is where I was living at the time. I was in Oxford, and I was realizing this really ain't me. I don't want to build a business that's location dependent to this place. And what I realized is, what's outside of my comfort zone next? What have I always wanted? What's my dream always been? Well, my personal dream had always been to go to live in Asia, to be able to run an online business and really be able to move anywhere in the world and create content and do whatever. So I literally, this is no joke, within the first few months of stopping drinking, I just felt like a god, right? I don't want to sound cocky by any means, but I just felt this surge of confidence, like I can do anything. I can keep pushing this comfort zone further and further out. So I actually booked a one-way flight to Chiang Mai in Thailand. And I could just keep going through examples of how, making this YouTube channel, creating this business, working with people, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And this is why when you stop drinking, this kind of stuff happens, is because you make that one leap outside of the comfort zone, and now you've just given yourself the beginning of a new track record. And when you do that again and again and again and again and again, things just get better and better and better and better. And this is why, I always say, when you stop drinking, you need a vision. You can't just stop drinking because your wife is annoyed at you. You can't just stop drinking because you saw some advert on Facebook that says, why don't you try and stop drinking? You've got to stop drinking because you want more for your life. You want better health. You want to make more money. You want a better relationship. These are the reasons why you've got to stop drinking. And I believe that if I did not have that vision and that kind of, the desire to keep pushing that comfort zone further and further out, then I would not be where I am today. No doubt about it. Because I made that decision and because I continue to push, that's where things get so interesting. So then this is what happens over time, right? And I've created like this little graph, and you've got results and you've got confidence. And what happens when you don't drink is that success and things in life just keep going upwards. They just keep getting better and better. I'm not saying, that it might not meander a little bit. It might be a little bit of a roller coaster. But as time goes on, you get better results, which feeds into the confidence, which gets better results, which feed into the confidence. And things just get better and better and better and better. And I've spoken about this on the channel numerous times, where life starts progressing in a linear fashion. It goes up and up and up, rather than up and down, that kind of roller coaster living when you're drinking. It just kind of keeps going upwards. And this is where I wanted to get to, right? This was the point. This is what I'm talking about, the edge. There was a book that I read when I was a teenager called The Way of the Superior Man. And you can see it on the screen now. Great book. I mean, it's not just for men. It's written for men, but I guess females could read it as well. But it's an amazing book. And what he always spoke about was about living life on your edge. And when I read it, I kind of understood it. But now, as I've got older, now I understand what the author meant. And he said, men should live on their edge. They shouldn't go past it. They shouldn't live before it. And they should live at that point where they're afraid, but they kind of act anyway. And what that edge can really be described as is, the edge of the comfort zone, where you know that you're kind of pushing things to the limit, where you're like, this is scary. This doesn't feel quite right. And what I really do now is I seek discomfort. I always look to live at that edge, live at that point where it's scary. And if I look back at my life and I look back at all the things that have led up to today, every decision that I made that's really changed my life in a great way was here. It was at my edge. But because I'm not drinking, it's so easy to get here again. And because I've had this track record from the moment that I decided to stop drinking, I was outside, I was on my edge. And I've just kept there. I've just kept there for as long as I can. Getting into a relationship again, that was here. Starting Sober Clear, that was here. Working with the very first person in the program, that was here. Making the YouTube video about stopping drinking, that was here. All of these tiny decisions that were incredibly scary at the time and just took so much courage have completely changed the shape of my life forever. And that is why stopping drinking is the most important decision you will ever make, because you start giving yourself permission to get outside of your comfort zone. It's to get outside of the norm. It's to break the norm. It's to break the ideas that other people are holding. Because you really do kind of step outside of the norm. You step outside of the crowd. You don't go with groupthink anymore. When you build that paradigm where you see alcohol for what it is, you're not a sheep anymore. You're not following the crowd. You're not being a yes man. You're saying, wait a minute, screw this. This is doing nothing for me. But people are going to want to drag you back. But when you stay true to yourself, when you make that decision, the natural ability comes back, confidence starts growing, results start going, and you can get to your edge. You can get to that place where if you died tomorrow, you know that you put everything into what you were doing, right? That's where you want to get to. You want to get to that place where you know that you're on your edge, you're going towards some kind of potential. And I mean, listen, I'm excited for you because I've just seen so many people change their lives, build their business, boost their relationship, just change everything about them as a result of that one decision to not drink, and this is why. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Have a great day.